Of the new settlers.
Alrighty.
Welcome to Gilded Vale. You'll be pleased to know that we've had some recent vacancies here.
So this place is not going to be good. It's not going to be good at all. One of the new settlers. Recent... Wow, this guy is... Do you welcome everyone this way? The only answer you hear is the buzzing of flies in the tree.
Of course, we'll need to make some inquiries first. The inestimable Lord Radric VII has taken great pains to insulate our town from Widewind's legacy. Have you ever conceived a Hollowborn child?
I have no idea what a Hollowborn child is. I don't know who Lord Radric VII is. I don't know what Widewind's legacy is. What the hell is going on?
An infant born without a soul, of course. Lord Radric has made it his first priority to eliminate this scourge from our village. I should warn you, stranger. Here in Gilded Vale, we have a special place for dissidents, charlatans, and those who would hide a curse in our midst.
So we hang them from a gross tree.
His lordship's wife is with child and due any day now. Without his approval, I shan't be able to find you a permanent settlement. It will have to wait until after the birth. We can continue our interview then, after the bell tolls from Radric's hold to signal my lord's new heir. In the meantime, you can find temporary accommodations at the inn, just southwest of here.
You said something before about Hollowborn and Widewind's legacy? I forget that you foreigners do not have this curse in your homelands. The Hollowborn have been a scourge on the Deerwood for 15 years now. Children born without souls. Pitiful dumb things that breathe, barely, but do not truly live. Some say the Hollowborn are disease, some say they are a punishment from the gods. In truth, no one knows, but they began spreading after the Saints' War, so the name Widewind's legacy stuck in honor of that foul, blasphemous pretender. His voice shakes with vitriol. Ooh. Lord Radric's decrees might seem strict at times. Yeah, understatement of the game. You win, Urgeet. Yamada whined while you mentioned that. Trespassing on Engwithan ruins is illegal, not to mention dangerous. This guy's a jerk. A terrible, weird, evil jerk. Also, Christmas in this town is a bummer. If you'd been that close to a Biowak, you wouldn't be standing here.
Whatever your problem, it sounds like a matter for an animancer. However, the only animancer in Gilded Vale isn't in any condition to speak.
Oh, an animancer, cool.
Fortunate. After she failed Lord Radric, we saw to it that she wouldn't profit from the misplaced trust of others. A bad cure is often worse than none at all.
They killed their animancer? Where will they get anime from? Shameful.
But if you're set on finding a bottle of troll piss or a dead Audra pebble to rub on your forehead, you're welcome to check her pockets. A little corpse stink is nothing when you're digging for shit.
Who is this
My
guy?
advice, however, is to be satisfied that you escaped and leave it at that.
No.
Keep out of...
Oh, the heir is born. Great.
Listen.
2 tolls. Let that be the last.
3. Gods have mercy. It seems your arrival is ill-timed.
You don't fucking say.
3 bells toll only for the death of a Radric. I fear Lord Radric's heir is lost, or else Hollowborn, and so lost all the same. You should tread carefully. Circumstances have changed a great deal.
Don't threaten me, little man. It is no threat, only a warning. Lord Radric will tolerate no threats to his kin. For those who live upon his lands, grief will not make him more docile. I can be assured of nothing right now. I advise you to get some rest. The inn or a stable for all I care. Find me afterward. I will know more soon enough. This guy alternates between, like, I'm going to give you a quest later, and we're going to have to fight, because I'm a dick. You know what? Farewell, Rigit. Farewell to you, friend. What a prick. Let's go take a look at this weird tree. Huh.
Were you looking for someone in that
Oh,
tree?
he's got a...
I could introduce you.
Ugh. Strange way to talk about your dead. Half the town's up there now. I'm looking for someone who can make me feel better. You know what I'm saying? My condolences. Really? Welcome to our lovely village. Oh, yeah, no. You're great. Thanks for everything. What do we got here? A windmill, Ingrid's house, Alfra's house. Let's go to the inn. The inn's always a good time, right? Oh, things are bound to get worse now. I can't wait. Ooh, an elf. You see 4 people gathered by the door of the inn. Their raised voices and chopping gestures suggest an argument reaching its climax, or they're practicing kung fu. The first figure raises his hand for calm. His face is obscured by a hood, but his height and stature suggest an
I
elf.
meant no offense. Let's put this matter to rest over a round, shall we? My treat.
Hoping to soothe our pride with a few Adira coppers, eh? We don't need your coin.
What's going on? I'm a PC. One of the other men points at the hooded elf. His eyes are red from drink, but his gaze are focused. Mocking us even while he shelters in our village just goes to show his fancy Adir manners are worth. We don't take to that kind of treatment. Not from foreigners, and especially not from Adirans.
Go on. Say it again. I'm itching for it.
Can we fight
You're
these dudes?
itching for the kindling touch of your sister, you cock's feather!
I'll cut that barrel-looking tongue out of your head.
This is a misunderstanding. I didn't say whatever it is you think I said. We've nigh quarrel.
That's where you're wrong.
This is unnecessary. Wouldn't you rather be inside drinking than out here arguing? Sounds suspiciously like you're defending him. Ah, they're gonna attack me. Of course. Well, hopefully this is a fight I can actually win. Yeah, elf help. Well, that was easy. The tension gone from his smooth face.
Not quite how I hoped to get to know the neighbors. Thank you for your timely assistance with that awkward situation. Courtesy is a rare pleasure in these parts, though your accent suggests that you are no more local than I.
He straightens his hood, and you note the remains of fraying embroidery on his gloves. His boots are caked with the dirt of many months' travel, but the leatherwork beneath is sturdy and fine.
Well, I suppose introductions are in order after that little fiasco. Aloth Corvisor, at your service. Well, I'm a wizard by training, and an adventurer by necessity. I was born in the Seathwood, part of the mainland of the Adir Empire, and both of my parents served the nobility.
Only a
which
Seath
afforded
deals
me
in
an
absolutes.
education, For which I'm grateful. However, there were no open positions in those houses, and so I decided to seek new means in a new land.
New memes in a new lands.
And how exactly did you come to be here?
I was traveling with a caravan, but we were separated near some ruins. Also, my friends got killed, and I got all commando shepherded with some weird mental visions.
In Gwithan ruins? Well, those can be dangerous places during the best of times, which these are not. And half the locals would arrest you for trespassing, and the rest would kill you outright. I'm curious. What exactly did you find there?
I found a
You
bioac.
survived? I've heard such a thing was impossible.
Not impossible
Seems
to
to either have a
me.
knack for timing or the favor of the gods.
Well, how did you manage to cross
I'm
those 3
afraid that was
drugs?
a matter of misunderstandings and mistranslations. It doesn't help that people in these parts remember their war with Adir like it was yesterday.
You did tell that one man to go fuck his sister. Ah, that. He clears his throat and adjusts his sleeves. As I tried to tell them, they misheard me. Happens all too easily after a few pints, and the accent doesn't help. I heard the same thing. For just a moment, it looks like he's about to say something else. His expression brightens with mischief, but before he can speak, he forces a tight smile, biting his lips so hard you expect to see blood. Finally, his face relaxes, and he shakes his head. I should speak more clearly next time. My apologies. Okay, so this dude either has multiple personality disorder, or he's got, he's possessed by, like, a spirit.
An excellent question. I came looking for fresh air and cheap land. Instead, the magistrate gave me directions to the inn and a story about the local lord's expectant wife. But I take it that's a familiar tale.
Yes.
Indeed. The local lord has searched far and wide for similar specialists. He has rid himself of them almost as desperately.
His darting glance takes in the tumble-down buildings and the fallow rock-strewn fields. I expect that such expertise would be best sought elsewhere. You don't exactly look like a settler.
Begging your pardon, but neither do you. Yet, circumstances can find a person in the strangest of places.
Yeah, I should
As
keep
should
going.
I, given recent events. It's just as well. I've had enough of the watered wine and lumpy beds at the inn. They say even the owner tired of the place. Just up and left one day. It explains quite a lot about the upkeep. Perhaps I could join you. I could use a change of scenery, and I find it's better to travel in numbers.
Aren't you already traveling in numbers?
Excellent. I shall follow you.
Excellent.
How may I help?
What you got, buddy? You got like a scepter. That's cool. And you have an offhand grimoire. Oh yeah, spells. Minor letters, minor missiles. Fan of flames. Burning hands, magic missile, fairy fire. Chill touch. Okay. Good. Good to know. The grimoire can contain 4 spells of each level. So the grimoire is his like memory. He's got those spells memorized. Alright, let's go and use their money to get a room at the inn. Anyone seen Pearly around?
Yeah. How do you do?
Welcome to the Black Hound Inn. Please sit where you like. Would you like a drink or room? I have 2 available at the moment. Can't offer much by way of a good meal today, unless you're fond of cold porridge. I could use some reliable help. Do you know anyone looking for work? Let me see what I have to work with. Level 1 adventurer. Ah, okay. So this is where I can get more generic NPCs. Now that's an interesting way of approaching the game. Like the fact that there's a combination of like story NPCs and more sort of regular NPCs is kind of cool.
Eh?
Oh, drunkards and villagers. Oh, the drunkard has dialogue. Okay. Our great lord has had my sister run out of town after the buoy was born. Blazes, I need another drink. Yeah, I bet you do, friend. Oh, these are characters that have adventurer names. Strom Brightblade and Selena Vertivo. Jeez, okay. As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of this woman's soul. Voices seem to call out to you. You see a woman emptying her satchel onto the bed, taking stock of her inventory. Potions, bandages, tinctures, and herbs are scattered throughout her room haphazardly. She bites her lip, head tilted one side, considering. She begins to repack one item after the other, careful deliberation undercut by shaking hands. So, like psychic powers, I guess? Tears eke from her eyes, gives up all semblance of orders, shoves everything again into the satchel. Straightening her back, walks to the dock, chin high, eyes hard and red. A gangly young elf offers his condolences, but she can't see him for the ocean ahead of her. Excuse me. Okay, step back. Strom Brightblade. See a group of young men around a makeshift practice target. This man stands in the middle of them. He holds it up, explaining the construction and use of a bow. He holds it up, pointing out each part as he speaks about it and what it does. And he walks away from the target, telling them to remain where they are, and takes his place about 200 feet away. Carefully lines up his shot, explaining what he's doing. He does, and lets the arrow fly. Hits the target. Blah, blah. I know this stuff. It's Kickstarter backer stuff, and I don't need to read it because I don't care. Not important. I mean, they're great if you want little stories, but so that's a thing in video game design. Adding content specifically as a reward for backers. You see it in Shadowrun Returns. You see it here. It's interesting because, in a way, you're deviating your design for the sake of someone who's not part of the team, and it can be small, and if it's handled well, it should be. But how much impact people have on the content can be risky, I guess. Risky or tricky. Because you can end up in these situations where there's so much of the game that's just determined by Kickstarter backers. Kickstarter, obviously, I think is fantastic, but I think that there's a risk that like you can end up with content like this, where it's like there's all of these like extra bits of content that maybe don't need to be in the game.
This won't stop me for long.
Stealing. A rapier? That's cool. I think I'm going to use that rapier, actually. Fancy. Okay. Neat. I feel like if we're talking about so the Kickstarter thing is tricky because in a way it's a cool way to get people involved in the design of a game. It's hugely important for getting enough money to make a game if you don't want to go the traditional route through a publisher, but you're letting your creative content be dictated by something other than the creative direction of the people that made the game. Now, Kickstarter is literally no different from any other setting in that way. It's just more obvious because when we're making games, and Kickstarter is where we get our money from, we can explicitly say, like, you get this for backing. But if you're going through a publisher, all of that pressure, all that economical pressure comes from inside the publication process. As a viewer, as a consumer of content, we don't see that stuff, but you know it's happening, right? Like, where I might say, okay, I backed it $100 and I'm going to I backed it $100 and I'm going to get an NPC named after me. That's fine. You know, we can see that. It's transparent. But if it's like, oh, I'm the president of EA and I'm going to influence the design of this game, no one sees that because it happens in closed-door meetings, right? Unless later the devs are like, and you see this a lot, where a game will come out and it'll be bad, and the developers will have to wait, and they quit the team, and then eventually they explain, okay, it was terrible because of these things. We had the CEO or the line director or whatever giving us all of this extraneous stuff that we don't want. So just something to consider. There's balance, right? It's controversial, and there's some of that stuff going on, but it goes on elsewhere too. It's not just Kickstarter. Okay. I'm gonna
Welcome.
let you know more about the Black Hound. Let's see. The actual building's here for years, but the Hound's fairly new. Lots of new faces. Fewer than we used to. Okay. He used to work the tables, actually, so the old owner up and left, which is what we heard outside. Even his poor hound behind. That's the name, see, the Black Hound. Sitting upstairs pining after him. Oh, that's sad. You only serve porridge? Adolf looks at you and shakes his head quickly. It isn't by choice. We serve some of the finest meals in the Dirwood. At a damnable run of luck. It's a bad season for crops and we're running low on supplies. I sent Tenfrith. Tenfrith is the cook from... The Tenfrith's our cook. Artist with a good roast. Haven't seen any sign of him. I could try to find him for you. Okay, now I got a quest. Let's do it. Let's go do a quest. Yeah, I mean, like, going back to the Kickstarter thing, I obviously kickstarted a game, and it went great for me, and I own, you know, with my partner, the rights to that game, and I can republish it, or sell it, or do whatever I want, and it's... But it was a lot of work. It was a lot of, like, hard personal work that, you know, makes it questionable whether you want to keep working with. And I've worked with devs, I've worked with publishers, I've worked alone. I prefer self-publishing if it's possible, but it's also really difficult to do if you're not familiar or not experienced at it, I guess. Which most people aren't. And ultimately, when it comes down to it, games are made to be sold. They're a product. And when you make a game, you explicitly are designing something that's its core purpose is to make money, because making art in a capitalist society, that's what happens, right? Like, I mean, there's philosophical debate that could be very easily had about this, but when it comes down to it, especially with video games, you can be as artistic as you want, but ultimately what you're doing is you're making a product, and so there's influence on that product to sell it, right? It's got to be successful. So, a thing worth considering. I'm gonna try this quest from here, and we'll see. I want to see if I can do it with these two.
Yes?
So let's pause, and let's see. Overwhelms anyone, leaving them dazed. I guess I could cast that. And then she can try to cast blind on this guy. Alright, let's try it. Yeah, so I mean, I think that like the conflict comes when and I want to address this before I get all distracted by the game, but the conflict comes from when designers make games to be played, right? Like, that's why you make a game. Like, we didn't make Dungeon World to productize it. It's nice and it helps, but with a lot of video games, they're designed to be played, and then someone else takes them and wants to sell them. And if those people are involved in the development process and they have pressure, if they have the ability to say to you, guess what, you don't get to make this game if you don't make it the way I want, I'll take my money away, then you end up in this position where you have to compromise your game for the sake of being able to make it, being able to create the game in the first place. Or you do what so many people are doing now and you go your own route. And that's where Kickstarter kind of comes in and allows us to control how much influence the people outside of the development process have on it. Because with Kickstarter, you can say, if you buy our game, you get the game, and that's it, right? We're going to make a thing, and if you like it, you like it, and if you don't, I'm sorry, but you paid for it, that's it. Like, but if you want to invest in the game in some higher, more significant way, then we're going to work on helping you get involved in making the game. So, something to consider, you know, when you're looking at buying games, that it's not just the people who developed the game that have an influence on it. Sometimes that secondary goal of selling them can influence the development, depending on the structure of the game's publication. And as for me, magic missiles. Oh, okay. Well, that's one down.
How may I help?
Out of spells, so... This. Alright.
That's it.
Looks like we're doing it. Awesome. Yeah, we're in an interesting place in game dev history, just because more games are being made by more people, which is great for games in general. Like, it's super important. But we're also in a position where, like, there's a sense of sort of infancy in a lot of the way that game development is happening now, where not everybody knows exactly how to do it correctly, I guess. So, you know, it'll be interesting watching the whole Kickstarter thing and how it works advance over time, and how game design gets modified by that.
Good day, stranger.
By the flame, thank you. Thank you. I thought I'd be stuck cooking for those ignorant weasels the rest of my life. Until they were bored with me, I suppose. Pasca send you. She must be beside herself. I must get back at once. But listen, the next time you're in Gilded Vale, stop by the Black Hound. I will. Gilded Vale, major positive. Excellent. Now let's loot. How many vegetable? Scepter, rice, loot with no name.
Yeah,
Okay.
no problem.
Well, alright, let's head back to town.
You must gather your party before venturing forth.
I think that every role-playing game in the history of time basically now is going to say you must gather your party before venturing forth as a reference to Baldur's Gate. It's just a given. I feel like it's entered the cultural unconscious as far as role-playing games go. Ader still doesn't want to join me. Such a tease with that portrait. Do I have to turn...
Good day, stranger.
Do I have to turn my quest in? That's cool. It tells me when my moderate positive is helping me. Hello and welcome to... Oh, it's you! Jennifer told us what you did. Such a relief to have him back. Discounts on drinks, rooms. Want to whip up something nice for you. He's already back to work in the kitchen. What do you have for sale? Oh, yeah. Camping supplies. Darkest cookies. Can I sell here? Oh, you trade. I see. Okay. Well, let's load up on supplies. I'll sell all these weapons. See how many supplies I can get. Hang on to this armor in case I need an upgrade. Okay. So I got some copper for that. Excellent. Okay. I got the maximum amount of supplies that I can get. Maybe I can hire another party member. I'd like to hire some help. I will hire a level 1 adventurer. Oh yeah, cool. Okay, so I've got a wizard. I need a fighter. So let's hire a cool lady fighter to replace the one that I lost. Now Mala. Now I'm gonna do this fast because I don't really care like a ton about the exact details. Whoa. They're so cool looking. But I like the bonus of this one better, so I'm gonna keep her. Yep, we'll make her a fighter. She should be a paladin. No, fighter. Less complicated. Knockdown. Yep. Alrighty. Yeah, we get a fighter NPC later on. I remember reading that. You know what? Maybe I should wait. Maybe I should wait and not throw my money around just yet. Okay. I'll wait. I'm going to rest
Hail,
my characters
traveler.
here. Yeah, you know I'm always welcome. Oh, cool. So the place you rest give you bonuses. So I can get 2 resolve or perception of mechanics. I'm going to take this one. Oh, that's really cool. What a great effect. Your sleep is restless and fevered, assaulted by hisses and whispers, blanketed with a suffocating anxiety. You open your eyes to awaken and find yourself in front of Gilded Vale's gallows tree, the creaking of its ropes growing louder in your mind till the sound is deafening. Hanging from the tree is an old dwarf woman whose face is shriveled inward like moldering fruit. That is gross! Her head hangs limply to one side. As you look at her, she looms larger and larger in your mind till she's mere inches from your face, with her moldering fruit face. Suddenly your head snaps up and her eyes open, and they're empty behind them. Vast nothingness makes her stomach drop. Her mouth slowly parts, and with a gust of rancid air, she speaks a word. Watcher. You jolt awake, the foul smell of the dwarf woman's breath still permeating your nostrils. Sweat runs down your face in thick droplets. You remember the woman, remember seeing her decaying face. He called her an animancer. She was wearing a one-piece t-shirt. Though it fills you with new queasy apprehension, you feel a strange compulsion to see her again. And also you gained a level. Excellent. All level 2 abilities. Amplified Thrust. Bounces psychic energy off the target harmlessly. Doesn't sound good. Oh, and onto the closest, causing pierce damage, knocking them back. Mental Binding. So it's like a Mind Blades. Well, obviously Mind Blades. Oh, I get 2. 30% of all damage reapplied over 16 seconds. Cypher uses the target's strength of mind against it. Phantom Foes. Oh, and I can take the first level ones now too if I want. I'm gonna take some second level. Amplified Thrust. Pierce damage. Yeah, I like that one. And I'm gonna take Mind Blades. No new talent unlocks. Look at my cape. My cape flapping around. I'm so cool. And here's my elf friend. God, he looks so sallow. Oh, his lore is out of control. Let's give him some stealth. And some athletics. Two more points. I will put another one in stealth. Wow, more spells. Excellent. Okay. Bewildering Spectacle. Binding Web. Combusting Wounds. Jeez. Infused with Vital Essence. Yep, that's cool. I'm gonna take that one. Ray of Fire. Rolling Flame. Oh, Miasma of Dull-Mindedness. Okay. Well, I'm taking this protecting one, and I think I want to take something that just causes damage, so... Oh, Mirror Image, though. That's cool. Let's try necrotic lance. That sounds cool. Okay. Alright, let's go talk to that old lady. Talk to. Let's go look at the corpse of that old woman. Oh, she's glowing all purpley. How do I... Oh, I can just talk to the body. Okay. The squat, distended body of an elderly dwarf woman dangles from a thin, crooked bough that sags at the tug of her noose. The bloated purple flesh of her neck, worn away in patches like a moth-eaten linen, bulges over the rope that suspends her, and her lifeless head lolls forward rigidly from one side to the other when the breeze shifts. Gross. You perceive a faint glow around her that casts no light on its surrounding, but there is a tepid warmth to it. You feel somehow you could reach out and touch it, not with your hands, but with some aspect of yourself that has no worldly dimension. I gotta lay off the drugs. You take a deep breath, clearing your mind, focusing on your objective. As you exhale, you find yourself spreading out toward the hanging woman, pursuing all that lies between you and her with new, unfamiliar awareness. Once you've expanded enough to reach her, there's a sudden jolt to your mind, a ringing electric surge of images, of words, and sounds. Involuntarily, you shut your eyes. Feel yourself being pulled down to some deeper consciousness in a space occupied only by you and the hanging woman. And when you open them again, you see your body, clouded in misty fog. It gives you a slow nod of her head, and she smiles at you. Have you come here?
Have you come here for me, dear? Or have you gotten lost? Ah, it is both, I think. Yes?
She nods, a look of pity as though consoling a child.
The world looks a little different than it used to, is that it? Feels like you're noticing things for the first time that have always been there. You have seen past the shroud. It only takes an instant. Your soul remembers, yes? Remembers how it sees when it leaves the body, like being reminded of a dream you had forgotten. You are a watcher now, and a watcher you will stay.
I'm a watcher? Cool. So, all I have to do is go find Buffy and teach her how to be a vampire slayer. Interesting.
What indeed? Long hours have many animancers spent studying such things. Not I, though. Not I. I'll tell you what I know, though, since fair is fair. And here we are, visiting, you and I, and it reminds me of better times. Souls pass on. Some say through Audra stones, which are the blood veins of the world. They leave the world for a time and are reborn into it, sometimes more than they were before, but usually less and seldom the same. For all souls there is a time where they do not live, yet have not passed on, and those souls roam the world, same as you or I, either living or lost. But no one sees them because they have forgotten how.
So I can see ghosts.
A watcher sees, though, knows what to look for. And sometimes they know a person just by looking at them. Know where they've been in ages past when their bodies were other bodies. See memories even their owner can't recall. A wonder to behold when all goes well. A wonder! Oh, nothing to be afraid of, I'm sure. It's just much to take in for some. Sometimes there's trouble sleeping or other difficulties.
Yeah, trouble sleeping. That makes sense.
You should see old Merwald. He could tell you much more than I. A watcher just like you. Helped many in his day. Took up in an old keep no one would claim. Not far, not far. Kadnua, beyond the Black Meadow. He will welcome the company.
Okay.
Did you now, dear? My, that would be something, wouldn't it? Could be luck.
Storm can be a careless thing.
Or maybe it got its hands around your soul but couldn't pick it up. A soul can be heavy if it stayed in one piece through its time. Strong souls, we call them in the trade. Cold, I mean. Called them. Those days are all behind me now. Oh, yes. Entropy. Rimagan's work. We know little of why or how.
Rimmergand,
We lose pieces of ourselves.
I think, is
when we
supposed to
die
make
and
me
pick
think
up
of...
pieces
I'll let her
others
finish.
when we are born again, but less than what we lost. We tried to stop it with the animantic sciences, but with little success.
So Rimmergand makes me immediately think of Jormungand, the Norse world serpent. I think that's on purpose.
A very small few resist Rimergan's influence and stay together through some force of defiance, at least for a time. But they all succumb eventually, I think.
Okay.
Is that what we're doing? Perhaps it just seems that way. Perhaps it is the easiest way for your mind to make sense of it. I think it is a very good choice. Me? I'll bore you to tears, though.
She laughs, a rasping, choked cackle escaping between rows of buttery yellow teeth. Ugh, buttery teeth. Causing her body to bob up and down with each spasm. Seeing her blank expression, she catches herself.
Oh, come now. Such a question. As though the answer were plain as a rope tied for strangling. Allow an old dwarf her last bit of cheer. Well, I came where I was needed, didn't I? Offered my services to Lord Radric for a pittance. A humble pittance. I was to examine the Lord's wife, see why the gods have seen fit to poison her womb. Studied her for months, looked high and low for impurities, tested her valence, the permeability of her essence. Do you know what I found?
What did you find?
Nothing at all. A healthy woman, head to toe, blessed with a beautiful soul. Such a sweet woman, too. Meek, but warm-hearted. A few months' time, and the lord of the house demanded answers. For a time, I told him what he wanted to hear. Oh, yes, my lord. She is riddled with imbalances. I must have time to cure her. As the birth drew near, he grew impatient, as lords do. And this is where I've ended up.
This guy sounds like a jerk.
A student of the soul.
A student of
Something
Japanese
so
TV
basic,
shows.
yet so poorly understood. But so many breakthroughs have been made in my lifetime. Had been made. Had been. To hear the locals tell it, we're a gang of soul manglers that preys upon the weak-minded. And the worst of us are.
Okay.
But the best of us? The best? Inspirations. Miracle workers. My parents were soul twins. Miserable before they met, empty inside. It was an animancer who helped one find the other. Turned their lives around. You wouldn't believe the stories. Amnesiacs helped to remember their lives. The suicidal brought back from the brink of oblivion. The elderly afforded extra moments.
I'm having a
of
conversation with a
sacrifice.
woman hanging from a tree.
How soon we forget when we're afraid.
Alright.
It's a fascinating science. A fascinating time to be alive in a place like Deerwood that does not control the research, no? I love the Valian Republics for many things, but their recent caution will leave them behind, I fear.
Okay, well, that's good and stuff.
Goodbye,
But I got a
my
quest to
dear.
go on.
It was lovely visiting.
Caldara closes her eyes and her head slumps forward over the noose, and your surroundings seem to bleed into your vision from some unknown place of waiting. Aloth looks at you through narrowed eyes. Are you alright? You seemed lost just now. Yes, I'm fine. It's good to know. I don't suppose you could tell me what that was all about. Oh, I'm a watcher. Well, that's interesting. He gives you a sly grin. And I expect this explains how you survived Biowak, hmm? In any case, I appreciate your honesty. It's best for us to share these things. Do you know anything about Watchers? Well, they're rare and have unique insights into certain soul conditions. He coughs. So I'll probably be able to help him with his soul trickiness. Here we go, this guy again. A smell of pipe smoke, once earthy and sweet, winds its way into your nostrils. Your eyes trace the smoke to its origin when you find a broad man with straw-colored hair leaning against a mossy rock wall. His pipe held to his lips with one meaty hand. He looks you directly in the eye, but the look is not aggressive. He regards you with a peculiar smirk.
17 and a half. Well, could be 18, depending on how you count the dwarf woman.
I'm sorry?
The dwarf woman. You were trying to figure out whether to count her as a full person. I think you oughta.
I'm sorry?
The dwarf woman.
What are you talking
Flying
about?
From the tree. 18 of them. Well, last I counted anyway.
Is that what you people do for fun around here?
Name's Adair.
Adair.
Though to the people around here, might as well be 19. Don't think I'd put you much higher than 22, 23 tops. You look like the sort that likes to get involved.
He looks at you a moment, his brow arched, his smirk broadens.
I was smoking over here, saw you staring at her. Twice I refilled my pipe. Never so much as blinked. Your mouth was so slack I took you for a Radric at first.
Impossible. I don't drool half as much. Ha, so you're already familiar. Still, you have to forgive my curiosity. Around here we prefer to turn a blind eye to our dead.
Careful, friend. Let's not use that word round here.
Hmm.
Be any number of Radric bootlickers within earshot. Ciphers, animancers, watchers. Same
Hey,
thing in the eyes of
I'm
folks
two of those
down
three
here,
things.
Radric especially. They come through these parts all the time with their cures, preying on the desperate. None of them are who they claim to be. Of course, seeing you with that funny look, I'd be halfway inclined to believe you were having some kind of communion with that dwarf. Either case, maybe I'm not 19 after all. No offense.
None taken.
The town's had it in for me for a long time now. Only fellow who ever stuck up for me, well, he's number 18 up there. My headman on the farm. Used to be my captain during the war.
Why was your headman hanged? Got involved. Radric sent men down here the other day, said they had it on good authority someone in town was working with Kolsk, plotting Radric's overthrow. Said if he didn't come forward right then and there, they'd hang every last one of us. No one's coming forward, so Swithin, that's my headman, he steps up and says it's him. They took him at his word. Bound to happen sooner or later, if not for plotting against Radric, then for protecting me. What does your town have against you?
God. That's what it comes down to. Used to be a lot of Aethys worshippers in Gilded Vale. That mess of rocks over there, there was a temple to him, to give you some idea.
Okay.
Then one day, somebody named Widewind shows up on Deerwood's doorstep. Says he's the living flesh of Aethys. Got an army with him. Suddenly, Aethys isn't so popular in these parts. My brother Woden and me, neither of us...
Your brother Odin, awesome. Does your brother have one eye?
That Aethys.
I hope so. I hope his brother is
Then I
Odin.
did too. But, he didn't make it back. After the war, people took to punishing Aethys worshippers, accusing them of treason. Got real ugly, especially after the legacy started. Folks needed someone to blame. I was safe because I fought, but then this rumor starts that my brother, that he was on the wrong side. And I wasn't so safe anymore. Until my headman stepped in and said they'd have to hang him to get to me.
Okay.
Seems that's no longer a concern. Of course, the townies don't do the hanging these days, but when Radric's men come, they got no problem doing the pointing.
You can see why I was eager to leave. Yes. So he's just hanging out drinking. Just on my way out. Oh, we could travel together. Where are you headed? Someplace called Cape Noir. There's an old watcher there who might be able to help
I
me.
seem to remember hearing something about that years ago. He tamed that place. People would seek him out for all kinds of things. Troubles of the soul, questions for the departed. Of course, that was back when you didn't have to say watcher with a hush on your breath. A man such as that, there'd be things I'd want to ask him. Don't know why I never thought of it before. Not sure how I feel about setting out with a stranger. And a strange one at that.
Yes, I'm a
But,
strange
truth
stranger.
be told, you might be the only one in town who wouldn't feel some relief seeing me swing from that tree.
It's a fine reason if I ever heard
All
one.
right then. Guess I'll do some sightseeing. Long as you're not the one picking the sights.
Excellent. Alright, I have a third member of my party.
Hey,
Welcome to Adair with your cool falchion. Saber? Yeah, it's a saber. What do you got for armor, friend? Saints War armor. Pierce-proofed, second chance. Oh, that's cool armor. I think he's a fighter? Yeah, the little fighter, meadowfolk, farmer. Faintly good. Okay, cool. Let's go check out this ruins down here. Though I wonder if I come down here with no reason, I'm probably wasting my time. Yeah. Yeah, I probably am. Let's see what else we can do in town first. Blackhound Inn, Alfred's house, Ingrid's house, Blackhammer Smithery. I'm into the Smith. Let's go there. Okay, so it's a smithy. I don't think that I need gear necessarily, but they might have like magic equipment here. There's a guard in the smithy. No, I don't need to see a Kickstarter backer's story. This man is of an impressive build, towering above the countertop. His skin is the dusky blue of the deeper oceans. His thick arms boast corded muscles. Small ears frame a square-jawed face coated in smooth set and arcing black tattoos. What can I do for you? What do you have here? Stock's not what it used to be. Find anything anywhere else? Oh yeah, so he does have really expensive magic items. Jaina's lance, Azerith's stiletto, and then a bunch of gear, regular gear. But I don't have nearly enough money for that. Okay, cool. So I'll come back to this guy after I've got some more cash. Commoners, nobody's. Okay, excellent. Villagers. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna head back to. I guess I can just go road south. I'm gonna head back to the other area that I was in and finish clearing it up. Head back to Valewood. Though, hold on. I think I still have stuff I'm gonna sell. Yeah, let's go do that. I don't want to carry around a bunch of crap first. Let's go back here. Okay.
Welcome.
You mentioned some... Oh, he's... okay. We don't just have the supplies. Been expecting the next delivery. Bandits. We're going to be headed that way. Keep an eye out for the supply wagon. There we go. Okay. So he had a quest, too. If you bring back the supplies, I have much more to offer and a discount. Well, okay. Yeah, because I don't want to... I mean, if I'm going to get a discount, it might mean better prices on things, and I might as well just go do this quest. Traveling along the eastern road towards Gilded Vale.
You must
okay,
gather your
perfect.
party before venturing forth.
I will gather my party, and then I will venture forth. Alright, so what am I doing here? I'm looking for a wagon along the eastern road. I mean, we saw this wagon here. But I don't think it's his. No, it doesn't look like it. Alright, let's see. Oh yeah, there's the bear cave. I'm gonna save, I'm gonna go fight this bear. Also, yeah, I know I went the wrong direction for the quest, but I want to clear this area too. All right, bear.
Hey. How may I help?
It's additional targets, so yeah, do this one. Who's this? Do I target? Yeah, friendly target.
I shall deal with this one.
Knocked on my ass.
Let's have it out! Let's have it out!
Let's have it out. That's a good call. Oh, am I dead? Wow. Okay. Everybody get up
Hey.
now.
Yeah.
Grats on not
Yeah.
totally dying.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna switch her back to my bow. Okay. There just needs to be some stuff in this cave. Skeletons. Poleaxe. Some more coral, which I think is probably for crafting. And a dead body. A figure drifts suspended in the musty air of the cavern. Its form and features blur and twist in cascading ripples of incandescence. Feel its energy eddying about your limbs, filling them with a heavy chill. Oh yeah, I'm gonna reach out for sure. Light blooms at the edge of your vision. You feel the sun at your back and the weight of a bow in your hand. You know, suddenly you've come a long way from the Vale, hunting deer. Standing in a cavern, the darkness extends far into its depths. Even so, your friend strides up before you, his red cloak flapping at his heels. You follow. There's a roar like thunder. Fear seizes you, casts you stumbling back towards the exit, toward light and escape. You see a glint of steel, and there's a sudden terrible flash of agony behind your knee. You scream, stumble, fall. Your thoughts are chaos, lance through with pain, but in a moment of terrible clarity, you see your friend look back from the mouth of the cavern, his dagger daubed in crimson to match his cloak. Then there is a great dark shape above you. Then there is more pain. The vision recedes, you're thrown back into yourself. The corpse lies at your feet. The spectre lingers. The span of energy between you both, you feel a sense of questioning, a confusion of anger. Clergyman. Requirement of it. Interesting. I met him on the road. Your friend. Sudden lashing anger. Yeah, let's go deal with that jerk. Confront Naunton. So we gotta find Naunton in town. Excellent. So I got a new quest. Before I go find a Naunton. Alright. So I will, as we do, I will save my game. Let's all take a quick break. And I will be back in 3 minutes to continue with Pillars of Eternity.